2 of these show real emotion, 2 of them don't. Can you tell the difference? I wanted to find out if there was a way to spot the difference between actual sadness and fake manipulation. So I researched the signs, and I'm going to show you 3 tricks to make sure that you're never duped again. You might think that you can easily tell when someone's truly sad or when they're manipulating you, but trust me, it's not always that easy. Let me tell you about something that happened to me. For many years, I ran in-person retreats for my students and my clients. There are a lot of things that can go wrong at an event like this, but one of the worst things to realize is that someone's manipulating you to get attention and wasting the time of the other people who genuinely want to learn. This meant that I had to get really good at spotting the difference between someone who was experiencing authentic emotion and someone who was faking it. During one specific retreat, I had this participant, let's call her Iris, who put me to the test. She would crumble emotionally during our group discussions, but then appeared perfectly content when she was doing small group activities. It was like watching 2 different people. In smaller settings, Iris was social and engaging, but the moment we convened as a larger group, a transformation occurred. After watching Iris switch so dramatically between emotional states depending on the setting, I knew I had to figure out what was going on. So I started paying closer attention. And that led me to my first trick for spotting the difference between genuine emotion and manipulation. Real emotions aren't something that you can switch on and off like a light bulb. They tend to be consistent regardless of the audience or the situation. If someone's emotional state varies too much too quickly, especially in different social settings, that's a red flag. This inconsistency was the first clue that Iris might not be as genuine as she seemed. Consistency can tell you a lot, but that's not the whole story. That's why it's important to also look at how someone responds when offered support or solutions, and that brings me to my second trick. Now, this is where Iris really showed her hand. Whenever I gave her the floor in our larger group sessions, she would engage in something I call spotlight self-pity. She would use that moment not for growth or mutual understanding, but to draw all the attention and sympathy towards her. But here's the kicker. If I or anyone else offered her coaching or solutions, she'd dodge them like Neo dodging bullets in the Matrix. She was more interested in leveraging my attention than in actually solving any of her problems. She wanted the spotlight, not the growth. Understanding the responses to support and looking for the consistent emotional state can get you pretty far in spotting a manipulator, but sometimes your gut reaction can be the most revealing sign. Brings us to the next trick. I tear up so easily when someone is vulnerable, real, raw, or sad. The running joke at my retreats was that I'd start crying before anyone else did. Even if I don't want to cry, it's involuntary for me. I just don't have an off switch for compassion. But with Iris, I felt nothing. I noticed that I wasn't tearing up like I usually did. Instead, I felt frustrated and almost confused. It felt like I was watching something weird, like maybe I was being lied to. And this is the most important trick, and sometimes the hardest one to rely on. If someone's story or emotions don't resonate with you, don't cause some sort of emotional reaction within you, especially when you're an empathetic person, it might be because those emotions aren't genuine. Your own emotional response or lack thereof could be the red flag you need to identify a manipulator. Always trust your emotional instincts. They're more finely tuned than you might think. In the beginning, I showed you 4 photos and I asked you to spot which ones show real emotion. Given what you've learned, who do you think is faking it? Let's discuss in the comments. Oh yeah, and to learn more about manipulation tactics, watch this next.